All right. Check, 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 check. Yep. Like we're working. So here next, we're going to talk about setting up your podcast business. I'll tell you, I'll tell you one thing. Until I got somebody to really help me with business, I didn't even know how to even spell the word business. And sometimes I still spell it wrong. It's one of those things that I wasn't wired to be a business professional. I fell in love with what it is that I do and speaking, and things just kind of, the trajectory just kind of went a totally different way. I mean, I can't do what I do doing it for anybody else. So I got to do it for me. But one thing that I noticed and on my journey and the journey of others is when we go that path and we start a direction, we, especially with trailblades and some stuff, and we're creating a business, we forget about the most important part. And that is the business part. I know you probably just want to build a podcast because it sounds cool. You want to use your voice. I think that's all beautiful. It is beautiful, but it is a business. If you're not taking funds for it, if you're calling it, if you're a nonprofit, not a legally registered nonprofit, but you just don't make any profits in your podcast, what's that? How would Jay-Z say? If I got 99 problems, but my podcast not being a setup business ain't one. If you got a podcast and you don't have your business set up, I feel bad for you, son. All right. Again, it's late night and I'm the only one up in the house right now. So I'm just kicking back, listening to some meditation music while I talk to you. I was listening to some music. Alexa, play meditation station. All right. All right. Telling me there hasn't been any activity. Any activity. I've been here working and talking to you. But anyway, setting up, and I'm not going to take that out. That's going to stay in. Set, set up your podcast business. You have to set up your podcast like it's a business. Setting up your podcast business is a crucial step in your journey. This preliminary worksheet serves as a starting point to kickstart the business aspect of your podcast. While it may not cover every possibility that you'll encounter in business, completing this worksheet will provide you the direction for your journey ahead. These things that I'm going to tell you, you take it with a grain of salt. You could say, hey, just I'm going to go to the module where I start building the actual podcast itself. That's what you can do. I hope that you don't do this. I hope that you take this serious, because if you follow all the other tips and tricks that I'm giving you inside of this container, your business will be successful. Your podcast will be successful. My hope is that you will also have a successful business. Okay. So again, I'm not giving you advice on, you setting up your LLC and all of that is definitely going to be a part of it. But I am going to give you some tips and some tricks that a lot of podcasters don't think about. So this first step that you're going to take, personal development and well-being. Prioritize self-care and well-being to maintain resilience and effectiveness in your business. What will you do to practice self-care? I put this there because for me, when I don't even know if prioritize is the right word, because when you prioritize, you priorities change depending on what's what and who's who. And I know a lot of times, if you're anything like me, you have a busy life, you have a partner, you have some kids, you have a house, right? You have goals, you have friends, you have dreams, you have aspirations. That personal development and well-being, that stuff will go down, right? And as far as the ranking of priority, so I would say this needs to be your main thing, and that's why I put it the first thing inside of this worksheet. So there's a lot of different things that I do to enrich my brain. I study all the time. Over here in my office, I have some books that are stacked up, stocks stacked on top of my sauna. I'll just grab a book. I'll go on a sauna. I'll read first thing in the morning. That's me taking care of my personal development and also my well-being. In my office here, I play meditation. I spray rose spray on my face. That stuff kind of helps me relax from anxiety. I got some plant life over there, plants that are just thriving. And, I really think that they're thriving the way that they are because of the environment that I have inside of my office. So, oh yeah, I even got some tea, some master plants from freaking the Amazon. It's just the vibe, right? And that's what helps me. If you're one of those people that you like to have your office chaotic, and that's what helps you to make content, then go for it. Audiobooks, that's something that I listen to for personal development. If I want to know something new inside of the industry, I'm going to listen to an audiobook. If I want to just relax and listen to something that's good for my soul, I'm going to read books. I read a lot of books on things like plant medicine, meditation, yoga. I just started reading about that kind of stuff. But what is going to keep you to where you can maintain your effectiveness in your business and so that you could be resilient when things bounce, or when things just drop and break? So think about that. This is definitely a priority. I spent looked like 7 minutes talking about that for a reason. Okay. So invest in learning and professional development to enhance your skills and expertise. Again, think about it some more. A straight up plan. What will you do to further your education? We talked about the self-care and we talked about the well-being. Now, education. How are you going to learn more about the subject that you're going to be speaking about in your podcast? I listen to a lot of things about podcasts, and some stuff it's where I'm like, oh, that don't work though. That don't make sense. I wonder why they told them to do that. And it helps me with some of my own theories where I'm like, okay, this is what everybody else is doing. Woo-hoo. Wow. And they're getting those results. Let me try it this way, right? Let me take one piece from it. You don't have to dispel everything, but let me take one piece, and you don't have to take in everything. Just like inside of this training that we're doing right now, there's going to be some stuff that you're going to say, absolutely not. That's not what I want to do. But take the take the hay and spit out the seeds and the straw, and just eat the hay. Take what goes with you and what you're trying to do. Administration. This is going to be some really important stuff right here. Set up processes for initializing administrative tasks like insurance, taxes, and contracts. When I first started my business, man, and not just the podcast business, but I would get calls all the time. It's time to do your annual taxes, or your quarterly financial statement, or you need insurance on the building that you're renting a room in. You have to remember to pay that. You have to remember to pay like all of this stuff. So what I'll tell you to do is don't write it in just your notes in your phone, or don't just keep it in your head. I want you to go to somebody else, like what I did, and said, if you're not that person to typically do this, right? Go to somebody else and say, hey, I need some help. Can you write this down for me? Can you put it on your calendar so that you can remind me that somebody else and not just you? Because when this stuff, if you don't pay like your license fee and stuff like that, they know that you need that. And I feel like they're kind of predatory a little bit, because if you fail to pay that stuff, then it'll drop, right? Just like if you fail to pay any of this stuff, your website that I'll talk about here in a second, that stuff will drop. And the next thing you know, your stuff is in an auction and you have to pay for it. So make sure that you have a process for initializing and keeping up with the administrative tasks. create a professional website with essential information about your podcast and also your services. Because if you're creating a podcast, should be some service, there should be some product, there should be some way that you can reach out to your community. If you get stuck on different ways that you can serve, a lot of times when we're inside the jar, we can't necessarily see the wrapper, and it takes other people to be able to see those ingredients that you possess. So if you're like, man, I want to figure out an idea for a product or service, I want to change this thing into some sort of consulting business or some sort of coaching, it definitely is possible with podcasting. I've seen it happen over and over inside of our community. Reach out to me if that's something that you're looking forward to. But when it comes to websites, Squarespace has been the one that I've noticed that's really user friendly. You can hire people on Fiverr. You can hire people. I'm actually talking to somebody right now inside of our community. By the time you see this, there will be somebody that can assist you with that. Somebody that's on our team. So I'm really excited about that. But Squarespace is the website that I use. You can go to www.tonytaylorinspires.com or go to leadersleadthepodcast.com. It'll take you to my business page, and I use that Squarespace. I've updated some stuff from when I was a speaker all the way up until a full-time speaker to all the way to now. And that's helped quite a bit. Wix is pretty cool. I think Squarespace is ahead of Wix. It seems like they both were at neck and neck at some point of time, but I feel like Squarespace has surpassed them. I dropped Wix a while ago. I had a safety company back in the day, and I used them, and it was type, click, play, drag type of situation. It was really cool. HBA funnels. If you're looking at this website, you can copy them. If you do have a product, you do have a service, or you just want to put your website on here, I highly advise you to check them out. They are, I would say, the almost the equivalent to a Russell Brunson's Click Funnel, but I like the way that they do business. I mean, they are really a joy to kind of see them and the people in their community blossom. But the big thing of it is they have funnels. So if you have a product, you have a service, if you have different places that you want to take the people that are listening to your show, and you want to do some upcharges, or you have a business and you want to put your business inside of a website or a funnel as a container that works for you, go and check them out. Reach out to me if this code is not working. I do have a partnership with them. I don't have a partnership with Squarespace or Wix, but there is like some affiliate stuff where I can give you, I think it's like the first month or something like that is for free, but it's really cool. It's $25 freaking dollars a month. I'm running my whole business on this. Here, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to my web page really quick. Okay. All right. So, so yeah, this is my website. It's built on Squarespace. You got the hero page. Oh, this is like a little pop up. I got some stuff about the podcast thing. Oh, all right, we're at 5%. That's cool. We jump anywhere from like five to 3%, but I got something that I'm working on right now that's really going to elevate that. I haven't, with podcasting, I use it as a business, kind of like the stuff that I'm teaching y'all right now. We could be a lot higher if that's what we double down on, but we do got some really cool stuff that's happening. So I'm excited. But you could put something like this on your web page, which I actually did that myself. You have a quote, kind of what you. All right. Then you can go to actual podcast here. Oh, okay. Yeah, so you can go here, and this is the page that I have with podcast.co. Go back. Okay. But yeah, I actually had somebody make that for me, and then I started doing some stuff on it myself. So that's an option for you if you're a do-it-yourselfer like I am. The Squarespace, the Squarespace would be amazing. That's where that was at. I think I was going to show you my funnel. Why did I go to here? Go speakuniversity.org. Show you. Brain is all over. It should be loading. All right. So pop up. This is my speaker page for folks that need support with public speaking. They come here and they enroll in my program by clicking this button. Either, there's a waiting list or whatever. They just kind of get on that waiting list and my team contact you. This is if you need support with some public speaking. But I made this on that funnel page. It's so free. Yeah, I got my testimonials right here. Some of my customers, some of my friends that have left messages on my LinkedIn. That's the actual course. So it's cool. And I actually built that course inside of that. I'm not gonna go inside the course itself, but it's a really cool thing. $25. That's what I originally was going to show you. Got off the pass. How much time we? Check. 18 minutes we've been going. Obtain a professional email link to the domain of your website. I'm not going to say like I'm not going to say nobody's going to take you serious if you have your website as, I don't know, if my website was, or my email address was easypodcastblueprint at gmail.com or yahoo.com or AOL.com, that tells me that, you haven't invested in having an email account. I mean, they're really cheap. I think you can get them for $3 or something like that. I don't know if it's monthly or whatever it is, but they got some really good plans. This thing is a business. If you're going to be reaching out to people, you need to have your stuff in order. These big podcasts that you see where they have celebrities and stuff going on, they're not using Gmails, and neither should you. There's no reason to do it. And I'm not saying that so that you need, or make you feel like you need to step up to where they're at. That's definitely not the case, but it's the professional thing to do. All right. Yeah, I wonder if y'all saw that too. It said that. I hope it's not going to crash. But anyway, so develop an operating budget and establish system for tracking incomes and expenses and incomes. Actually, it's really funny. Me and my daughter was just going over my budget, not just for the podcast, for my business itself. And you'd be surprised when I was I make that a practice because when I was a new entrepreneur, I didn't look at that stuff. It was almost like I knew that I wasn't making any money. So why would I look at that stuff? Why would I look at that stuff over and over? If what does not get measured, does not get tracked, does not get done. So sometimes I would look, my wife would be like, "Hey, your account is like negative. Your account is negative. What the heck are you doing? And what do you got going out, income and outgoing?" And I was too proud to sit down and actually look at that stuff. But now I can easily tell you what I got outgoing, what I got incoming. And you need to know that for podcasting because there's certain services that will nickel and dime you. That's why if you're inside of our community, if you've elected to be a part of the community. Tell me inside of there, what you're buying, what type of equipment you're buying, why you're buying it, so that if I have another alternative, I can go ahead and tell you about that alternative. There's a lot of programs, there's a lot of services that you use in podcasting that a lot of my peers, when podcasting first blew up, a lot of my peers, they started designing things around podcasting. And I can hook you up with some cool stuff. Just reach out to me and tell me what you need. But the main driver here is to make sure that you have an operating budget and have systems so that you can track that income. You're not going to continue to keep doing or running in the hole for a podcast that's making you broke, right? That's going to be the first thing that's going to go. But I'm telling you, the podcast is the best thing as far as putting it inside of your business and actually it being the arm of your business. So if you have a piece that's a big part of your business, why not track it? Why not set up some sort of system or a system around your business so that you can actually make money off of it instead of losing it? So if you're going to do that, you're going to track it. So do that with diligence. Create a free Calendly account and integrate it to your website for scheduling appointments. I would not be able to do the things that I'm doing if I did not have my Calendly appointment. I hook up StreamYard, I have my interviews, meetings, presentations, you name it, inside of StreamYard. And anybody that wants to connect with me for a meeting, I do it inside of StreamYard so I don't have to pay extra for a Zoom. StreamYard, I use StreamYard for recording the podcast. I use StreamYard for everything, right? So if you see me go live, I'm using StreamYard. You can use that for everything. That's not even there. But create the free Calendly and integrate it into your website, integrate it into everything that you have, and also do the same thing for StreamYard. Reach out to me for a code for StreamYard so you could just check it out the first month. Consider hiring an intern for additional support. We got to a point where things got really hectic with life, and I was spending so much time with editing that I partner with some colleges, some really cool colleges, some local, some all the way in California, some all the way in Nigeria, to where we were working together as a collaborative to get this information out for my podcast. And oh my God, it worked really cool. They got college credits, they got support from me, and they went on to do phenomenal things. Some of them work at radio, some of them are working in Hollywood, some of them are currently right now going to law school, lawyers, doctors, like they're doing some really cool stuff. And I'm just grateful to be able to have a piece in that. So if that's something that you're interested in, reach out to me. Let's make sure that you are to a point where you can actually take them on. If you got like 10 episodes, we can talk about it, but I'm gonna try to get you to not go that route right off, and we'll figure out another alternative. Getting your business license, that's important. Obtain a business license in the city and state where you operate. Set up automatic reminder. And let me go back to that. The business license, think about the fees and stuff that's going to come with that, and time it and put it in the right place. Don't feel like you need to like rush out and go get a business license, especially if you're in this phase of development. You don't feel like that's something that you absolutely have to do, right? But you're going to get to that point once you start hiring interns, once you start getting revenue for your content, and you set up like an actual business. That's something that you're going to need. Again, setting up automatic reminders. That's for license renewals. They will stop your stuff. Keep digital printed copy of all your license, insurance, and ownership documents. When you start up your LLC, I highly advise you to get one of the thickest binders that you can find. So I keep digital copies of everything, because when websites get hacked, and they freaking do, you can go to my podcast. I actually talked to somebody, and the way that some of these government websites get hacked and taken for ransom is freaking crazy. So I keep digital copies of everything. And I'm not like a doomsday prepper or nothing, but if somebody walked in here right now and they was like, hey, Mr. Taylor, we hear you're running illegal operation, I can go. When somebody standing in front of me, I can't go to the computer. I can't even type. Right. Sometimes, like if I was misspell words because somebody's looking over my shoulder, but I can go and grab that binder and say, boom, here you go. If I got to run and go to the bank really quick or a business loan or something like that, I just take that binder. I don't know what they want. I'm gonna take the binder with me and boom, right? How cool and how simple is that? So keep digital and printed copies of all licenses, insurance, and ownership documents. Order. Oh, this is fun. Evaluate the need to establish credit for your business. I think that's later on down the road. I want you to fall in love with podcasting first before you start doing that last one. That's just something to think about. Something that if you reach out to me, say a year from now, and the podcast has exceeded your expectations, it's hit all your goals, and you're ready to take that step, then I think that's something that we can talk about. I'll tell you guys right now, I do not have a credit card for my business. We've been operating, kind of hand over hand, cash over cash, because I just didn't see it. I just didn't see it. I didn't need it, so I didn't have to do it. And neither should you. If you're following this system the way that I'm teaching it, exact way, little deviations here and there, like you'll be able to make some money off of this podcast. Okay. Setting up shop. What services, you can tell I wrote this, what services for your podcast can you offer for revenue generation? For my podcast, it was a couple different things. First, it was getting booked as a professional paid speaker. People listen to the podcast, they come and say, hey, Tony, we would love to have you on the podcast. And I strategically placed that in those people's hands, those people's hands. If you're running sponsorships, which I don't advise this for you starting off, start with your own product and service, but I get paid for that. I stopped doing it. I stopped doing it. They wanted me to say certain things. They want me not to say certain things. They wanted me to wear certain things. And I'm just like, oh man, it was a little bit too much for me. But that's a profit source. Teaching them what you've done and what you built, to me, I think that's what makes a lot of sense. So, or whatever you have your heart, on, can you offer that during the commercials? Can you offer that by partnering with somebody, right? So think about this. You're partnering with somebody. I'm giving you all the stuff that I do for my coaching. I'm gonna keep going. Yes, partner with somebody that could, and when I say partner, I mean have them on the show that will be able to get you where you need to go. So if I am, let me think of something around. I'm doing stuff for podcasting, and I have this roadcaster over here. I want to do some more work. I want some more roadcasters. I have a product that I can offer the company roadcaster. Who am I going to have on my podcast? Probably the CEO of Roadcaster. Probably the chief marketing officer of Roadcaster. When will I offer them my product or service? Probably at the end, or they'll typically say, hey, Tony, we noticed that you do XYZ. In my head, I'm thinking it's no coincidence because that's the way that we designed it to. Can we work with you? Boom. Right? So think about that. Determine pricing. A lot of coaching that you'll see people do. Reach out and do a market study of whatever prices people in your industry are doing. Hopefully you create it a whole new category of doing something, a whole new, a lot of different, but just so that you can get some prices and stuff. That's what I did. I filled out all the funnels and did all the things just so that I can did all the things that they were doing as far as like following different companies that offered almost something like what I was doing. I would follow them, get the price, and say, okay, this is what the going rate is. Why are they charging that? So yeah, for services, I want you to avoid listing prices on your website. Instead, initiate negotiations based on client budget. So yeah, and that don't include merchandise. So that's like when you don't want to tell somebody, oh, you this is what you do for this and this, because not all situations fit the same. And if you're a consultant, you're a coach, which a lot of the people that are taking this course are, you you yeah, you would basically be hanging yourself by doing that, by saying, oh, I do it for this price. Like, no, you have to get you're on your way to the hospital in the ambulance, the doctor or the ambulance driver, their ambulance driver, they're not going to be able to give you a price on what's it going to take, because they're going to have to do a diagnosis, right? And for you to get a prescription before the diagnosis, I think they consider that malpractice, right? So same thing with you. Same thing with you and your business. You should be having conversations and not just saying this is how much stuff costs. So again, with you having your own podcast, you're going to be organizing your contracts. You're going to be organizing your leads. Use a spreadsheet, some kind of tool that you can keep up and not just in your head and not just some random notes in your phone. All your opportunities, you should be putting them in CRM. There's a document here for you to go and check out that CRM. I'm not going to walk you. I'm not going to walk you through that. You'll see like basic categories. You can change them. You can change them the way that you want for the application that you need. That's really a really good thing to do. Awards and recognition. This is something that I really didn't see the power of. I see it now, especially it's really cool to be in magazines, have your business as pieces, public awareness pieces. I think that stuff is cool to help people see it. It's cool. I mean, we have billboards right now for our podcast and ATMs. It's such an incredible thing. I really love bringing brand awareness to the business. It lights me up. There's like a little kid kind of thing. But then the awards, you're an award winning podcaster. That just hits different right there. There's a lot of podcasters that that are great, are really good, but they don't have any recognition. They don't have the awards. So as you are leveraging your podcast, you want to be using some of the recognition and using some of the awards, not to brag on it, but giving your team, the people that are working with you, the people that have came on the show, some sort of recognition, right? How freaking cool is that? You're recognizing them for catapulting the show. As I look around my office, I have something from 2022. I love looking at this. You know what? I'm gonna go grab it really quick. Pause this. Yeah, so this award is really cool. I got it in 2022. The media professional Tony Taylor, Leaders Lead the Podcast, and it came from the Rosie Network. This is really cool and very typical for like a military type of award. The paddle. This is freaking amazing. It's one of my favorite awards. I really appreciated getting it because it was such a hard time in my life. My family was going through some hardships and things that slowed down for me. And because of like different sicknesses and stuff. But that award came in the mail and I found out that I had won it. And it was such a moment that embodied that situation. That would be something that would happen on a daily basis, but it was almost like at this point, not a daily basis, like I was getting awards like that, but that was a part of my life. But then things were changing, and it was almost like a reminder of this is what you can get back to. And we all, as humans, we like and we want to be recognized for the hard work that we do. So, what I want you to do, and I want you to promise me that you're going to do this. Go and research and identify some awards that's in your niche. What what awards can you find? You could go to places like ChatGPT. You can Google. You can reach out to me and use our GBT. I've researched a lot of awards. Is it GBT? I think it's under Tony Taylor. Yeah, it's under Tony Taylor or Leaders Lead, the one that we use for our podcast. It's on ChatGPT, but we just go to regular chat and just say, hey, give me some top awards that's in my podcast niche. And of course, it's going to already have information about your podcast because you're going to be using ChatGPT. That's what I want you to use. That's what I use to research different things for the show. I use it to help me write out my ideas. You're an entrepreneur now. You don't need to prove anything by writing all of by writing all of this stuff, but right now you could set this up to where it could write it in your tone. And that's how I'm able to do things at a super, super, super fast. A level of quickness and explosiveness is uncanny for one person or two people, three people that's really running the business, right? So use that kind of stuff as far as tools. Develop a plan to pursue relevant awards and leverage them. Okay, so this is where you're right now, a short plan. I'm going to email them, I'm going to reach out to them, and we're going to figure out a way to get on their good graces because like even that award I won back in 2022 and they keep repaying themselves. It's 2025 and look at my phone. We just won. I think it's like 2025 top military 25 veteran entrepreneurs, and it's called Building Brands with Purpose. And it's just talking about this work that I do. But it's a stem from the first award back in 2022. And that's kind of what continues to happen. You get nominated for different awards. So create a system to where you have some awards that you're continuously pursuing and write that down, and also write down when you're going to revisit this plan. Always go back to the stuff. You're going to reach out to me and I'm going to tell you, okay, what is your plan say when you were setting up your business? What does your plan say when you were doing your focus? Go back and do that worksheet all over again because that's where you go to help either find your purpose or redefine your purpose. So I hope this has been as good for you. I hope it's been as fun for you as it has for me. Setting up a podcast business, I know it can be really boring information, but I think you have here only 4 pages of things that if you set up for your podcast, you do this stuff immediately. The stuff that I said, wait on, have a discussion with me as far as when to incorporate that or talk to somebody else that's in the business so that you can get help. Don't try to do all of this stuff on your own, right? Except for this stuff. This is easy. This is the easy podcast blue. I'll see y'all later. Bye. Oh, you're still here.